Good morning, folks. Welcome back. Today is May 9th, 2025, and if you've been following, you know that means that this is update number 3 to the red potato video. I say update number 3. March 9th we planted. April 9th was, I guess, technically the first update. This is, I guess, the second update then, but the third video, May 9th. So my plan when I shot that first video of planting the red potatoes, I didn't really have a plan in mind. It was more of a, we'll put this video out there, and then when a month came along, I'm like, hey, let me show the monthly progression. So today we're back. And if you remember, if you saw the last video back on April 9th, that morning, I think I shot that around 8, 9 in the morning. A couple hours earlier, we hit a freeze, and then I showed a little bit of frost damage, and it was legitimate. Everything that got hit that I showed legitimately died back. The ones that died back to the ground, they did die back to the ground. Now everybody regrew. You'll see when we look at it, things are absolutely fine out there. I can, if I dig through the plant, I can see the base of certain ones where you would see, imagine a stem that's coming up and the tip gets killed, the growing point. It basically died back at that point, but then from there, I can see the plant recovered off almost lateral shoots that went up. So it recovered, everything's fine. We don't know what the setback's gonna be for yield, if any. My bigger concern now is I went from one problem to another. So we had the frost damage, and now we've got potato beetle. The Colorado potato beetle is really aggressive in my area, even though we're not in Colorado, we're in North Carolina. So I don't know why it decided to come this far, but it did. And that now puts me on a path every day for about a half an hour across my 6 beds of potatoes. I'm crawling around or hovering above, smashing them. And that's not fun because you'll never get them all. I saw them early on and I stayed on them. But for the last 20 days, I've been smushing. I think 2 non-consecutive days I missed, and the day following, they're back in force. So that's what I'm fighting right now. Another interesting thing I noted was today's day 60. Probably 2 weeks ago, maybe even 2.5, 3 weeks ago, I noticed my first flowers coming on some of these potato plants. And that surprised me a bit because by reputation, some people will say that flowers mean that the plant's kind of coming to its end within a few weeks. And that's clearly not true because they're not, in my case, because they're not, the plants are still really healthy. And today's only 60 days. So we're definitely not ready for harvest yet, despite the fact that it's been 2-3 weeks since we had the flowers. I've also read that it's a sign that a plant is really healthy. Now what I did was, just because I'm trying to maximize yields, I did pinch off those flowers because I didn't want to put energy anywhere other than, again, more leaf development for photosynthesis to encourage more root development to get big spuds. And that's where we stand today. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn the camera around because what you really wanna see isn't me, you wanna see the beds. And there we have it, folks. Our 2 beds of potatoes. Now I say only 2 beds. There's more than 2 beds because we've got 4 more beds in that direction, but these are the red Pontiacs that we originally sowed back on March 9th, and they're looking really strong for the most part. Now what I found interesting, and not to get off topic, is how stout these plants are, the Pontiac Reds, versus the Yukon Golds, which are much more upright. So it's always kind of fun to plant a similar, the same plant but different varieties and see the different growth patterns. And if we get into this, okay, well, let's start over here for a minute, because this was the bed where these first 7 plants on either side were really small potatoes. I mean, smaller than a golf ball, and they put on quite a bit of growth. They're looking pretty much as consistent with any of the other plants that I have. So I'm not going to say that, I cannot say that potato size doesn't matter when it comes to yields, because I didn't weigh and I'm not gonna be able to prove that out. But visually, what we can see is that even small potatoes can yield a pretty good sized plant. This is as tall and as thick and as lush a plant as pretty much any that I have, save a few in the back. And those the back section of this bed, they were cut and planted the same day on March 9th because they were big spuds. And I don't know how big the cut pieces were. I didn't measure or weigh them either. So they might have been legitimately larger pieces throwing larger. I don't know. But again, like I said, the small potatoes aren't yielding really small plants. Yields at the end, it'll be interesting to visually observe what happens. And while I'm here, I will introduce you to no friend of mine, but that is a young, that's actually a young, that's getting a mature Colorado potato beetle. And this is the kind of damage that they do. They can defoliate the plants really quickly. All those holes, all these shattered leaves, that's all the potato beetle. And again, I came out here last night, and I say last night, yesterday afternoon around 3:30, and I hovered over all these plants, just crushing every one that I could find. And they just keep coming. So again, it's going to be a season-long project until harvest. So that's a bit of a headache right now for me because I was hoping that wasn't going to happen, and no amount of crop rotation, in my opinion, that I'm going to do within this garden space, because it's 8,100 square feet, 90 by 90. I don't see how me taking potatoes into those beds, which I'll probably do next year, not from a standard rotation practice, but just from a timing standpoint. I don't think that's going to change the pressure that I get on these potatoes from the beetle standpoint. I'll still move them just because it's never a bad thing to always just have things in new places, but whether it changes pressure or yields is debatable. So yeah, those are the potato beds. They're doing well. The potato beetles are a pain, but it's maintaining the attack on those is a necessary process if I don't want the plant to get defoliated, because I don't know at what point the defoliation will start really significantly impacting yields, but I don't want it to get to that point because I really am trying to chase a really good yield this year, because I put the plants in what I think is a really good position. And if I want to keep growing potatoes going forward, I've got to know what practices I need to do regularly to get that going. So in the next video, we're harvesting. I'm looking forward to that one. I hope you are too. Thanks for joining me on this journey. I hope you've enjoyed it. And until then, we'll see you.